Welcome back to my channel, Coin Collectors. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1-cent wheat penny, a small coin that could be worth big money bag. In this video, we'll uncover the iconic design, the copper history, and the hidden treasures behind these classic American coins. We're counting down the top 4 most valuable, expensive, and ultra-rare 1-cent wheat penny coins ever discovered in U.S. history. We'll explore shocking stories of American coins, rare color shades, and special mint mark varieties from the Denver D and San Francisco S mints that collectors and investors are actively searching for today. Here's the unbelievable part. Even dirty, worn, or seemingly ordinary wheat pennies could be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars exploding. Let's get started fast. Up 1. The 1953 Denver Wheat Penny. The penny stamped with a small, unassuming D holds a unique place. It is a coin that whispers of ordinary use and extraordinary possibility, a coin that has traveled through time from the year when America stood on the cusp of modern transformation. Picture the United States in 1953. The country was still rising from the recent shadows of World War II, optimism pulsed through cities and small towns alike, and everyday life involved simple things: buying a loaf of bread with pennies and nickels, tipping a hat to neighbors, watching black and white TV after dinner. In this world, pennies were not prized artifacts, they were tools of commerce. The wheat penny design, with its elegant sheaves of wheat on the reverse and a solemn portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, was already familiar. Introduced in 1909 to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday, this design reflected American ideals of labor, sustenance, and enduring character. It graced every cent that passed through hands in those decades, and the wheat penny became one of the most iconic symbols of everyday American money. But not all wheat pennies are created equal. Some were minted in such vast numbers that they surround us like common pebbles on a beach. Ordinary, repeated, familiar. Others, however, came into the world in specific circumstances, in limited numbers, or with slight imperfections, and those are the ones that evolve from small coins into objects of fascination, study, and value. The Denver Mint, the facility represented by the tiny D on the coin, is one of the key players in this story. In 1953, the Denver Mint produced millions of wheat pennies, including the 1-cent pieces with that little mint mark. Most of these circulated widely, touched many hands, and ended their days in piggy banks, cash registers, and coin jars. Some were worn smooth by time, lost to history, or thrown away without thought. But a few of these ended up preserved, forgotten, or unusual. And it is in those that collectors find intrigue, sometimes even astonishment. Now imagine a penny that has lived decades and change. Scuffed, dirty, worn. To the casual eye, it might seem like nothing more than dusty copper with a faint outline of Lincoln's profile. But to the passionate collector, even a worn coin carries layers of history. Each scratch is a moment in time, each discoloration a trace of a person or place. But beyond history, collectors search for rarity, condition, and variation. The rare anomalies that can elevate a seemingly humble penny into something remarkable. Rumors swirl through coin collector circles like digital campfire stories. Whispers of mistruck coins, double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, and other anomalies so rare that they are worth far more than face value. Sometimes hundreds, thousands, or in legendary tales, millions of dollars. And when the subject is a coin as beloved as the 1953 D wheat penny, those stories gain force. Yet it's important to understand how coin value really works, because that's where the magic meets reality. A coin's worth is not based on hope alone. It depends on scarcity, condition called grade, historical significance, and collector demand. A typical 1953 D wheat penny in ordinary circulated condition, even dirty, even worn, is common. Millions were made, and most collectors can find them easily. In worn condition, many are worth only a small premium above their face value. Sometimes just a few cents, sometimes $1 or $2 to the right buyer. But here's where the story becomes compelling. Rare varieties and exceptional condition coins are a different world entirely. Among the millions of 1953 D pennies, a very small handful might have unusual features. Perhaps a doubling of letters, a die crack in a distinctive place, a striking error, or a misalignment. These anomalies are not products of chance alone. They are moments when the minting process created something that differs from the standard design. These differences, while often tiny and almost invisible without magnification, are extremely rare. Collectors prize them because they represent something unique, a coin that is not like all the others. And scarcity is the essence of collectible value. Now imagine a coin collector, hunched over a desk under a bright lamp. The light glints off a small penny. The collector tilts it slightly, examining every detail under magnification. A faint echo of doubling on the date catches the eye. A line that shouldn't be there, a subtle inconsistency. The collector's heart quickens. In a moment, this could be an extraordinary find. A coin that, because of its rarity, could be worth far more than any ordinary penny. In the coin world, these are the finds that make careers and change lives. These are the coins that go into museum collections, that sell at auction for premiums that leave the general public stunned, that become stories passed down through generations of collectors. But don't let the romance overshadow reality. Not every 1953 wheat penny, even dirty and worn, is a hidden gold mine. Most are coins of everyday commerce. History, yes, but not astronomical value. The common versions, even in clean, nice condition, might only bring modest prices from collectors, perhaps a few dollars extra at most. But the ones that do have true rarity, genuine misprints or noticeable die anomalies, can sometimes fetch significant sums. Not every instance hits the seven-figure jackpot of legend, and the idea that a random 1953 penny will instantly make you a billionaire overnight is more myth than mainstream reality. Yet for those rare instances where the coin genuinely is a rare variety authenticated by experts, the value can be astonishing, sometimes entering thousands or tens of thousands, or in very unusual and historically verified cases, far more. The journey of such a coin from obscurity to legendary status is itself a tale worth savoring. A coin forgotten in the bottom of an old tin, rediscovered by someone dusting off heirlooms, studied by a curious collector who notices something odd, examined by experts, photographed, sent for professional grading, a process where trained numismatists evaluate every millimeter, every detail, every nuance of metal and imprint. When a coin is certified in uncirculated condition with rare characteristics, it can suddenly be transformed in value. A coin that once bought a piece of candy could now be the centerpiece of a collection. This is the magic of numismatics, the field of coin collecting. It blends history, art, science, passion, patience, and yes, a little bit of luck. Every coin has the potential to surprise, but only a few ever reveal that hidden spark. The 1953 wheat penny sits at the intersection of common everyday currency and quiet collector fascination. Its design, its era, and its mint mark tie it to a specific place in American story. A time when pennies were still vessels of copper, when life had a different pace, and when the coins we now consider old were simply part of daily commerce. Let's talk a moment about the design itself, because it too contributes to why collectors love these coins. The obverse bears Abraham Lincoln, the first president honored on a regularly circulating U.S. coin. His calm gaze, etched into copper, speaks of values held dear: unity, resilience, liberty. The reverse shows two sheaves of wheat framing the words 1 cent. Simple agricultural imagery that evokes bread, fields, harvests, everyday nourishment. Next up, the 1957 Denver D mint mark version. To the casual eye, it's just a small, worn, copper disc, color faded, edges nicked from decades of use. But to those who know the secret language of coins, the collectors, the dreamers, the ones who see ordinary metal as a portal to history, it can be a key to an astonishing story that spans time, art, culture, and the tantalizing possibility of great value. The 1957 wheat penny is not just a cent. It's a whisper from the past, a silver-lined possibility in the dusty world of pocket change, and for some, a reminder that sometimes treasures hide in the most unexpected places. Picture America in 1957, a nation moving fast into the middle of the 20th century, when drive-in diners dotted highways, rock and roll blared from radios, and small change was part of every transaction. Families saved pennies in jars on mantels, children dropped cents into charity boxes, and cashiers slid handfuls of them into red-lined till drawers. The wheat penny, featuring Lincoln's solemn profile on the front and twin sheaves of wheat framing the denomination on the back, was as common as Sunday on Main Street. It wasn't glamorous. It didn't carry precious metal like older silver coins. But its design spoke of agriculture and work, unity and sustenance, values rooted deep in America's identity. In 1957, the Denver Mint struck millions of these pennies. The D, a tiny mark just below the date, identifies that origin. Most of these coins did exactly what they were meant to do. They passed from hand to hand, paid for groceries, paid for bus rides, jingled in the bottoms of pockets, and eventually found their way into jars and drawers when pennies lost their place in daily commerce. Over time, many were lost, discarded, or destined for landfill. Most of the ones that survive show wear, surfaces smoothed by time, images partially faded. And that ordinary wear is part of what makes this coin such a compelling symbol of everyday life in mid-century America. But coins like this do more than mark time, they carry time. Each tiny scratch is a story of a hand that held it. Each discoloration a memory of a place it traveled. To collectors, that history is part of the coin's soul. Yet history alone does not make a coin rare or valuable. What turns a modest copper disc into something remarkable, something that could excite collectors and whisper of great worth, are the exceptions, the anomalies that make some coins stand apart from the millions that look just like them. It is here that the real magic begins. Not every 1957 D wheat penny is destined for legend, but rare varieties, misstrikes, and unusual conditions have been known to capture the fascination and deep pockets of serious numismatists. In the coin collecting world, rarity and condition are king. A coin that is common and worn may remain in the realm of pennies, but a coin that carries a subtle anomaly, a die crack, a double die, an off-center strike, suddenly becomes something different, a puzzle, a collectible, a piece of minting history that tells a story conventional pennies never could. The legends that circulate among coin collecting communities are as vivid as any treasure tale. Stories of ordinary people discovering rare pennies in old change jars, stories of coins selling for astonishing sums at auctions, and yes, stories so magnificent they make people wonder if an old penny could make them rich beyond imagination. The truth is that while the idea of a random 1957 D wheat penny turning into a $1 million coin overnight sits more in the realm of legend than guarantee, rare pieces do exist, and some have commanded prices that seem unreal to those unfamiliar with numismatic rarity. These extraordinary examples don't come from ordinary circulation. They come from the rare few that were struck incorrectly, or whose features deviate just enough from the norm that they are noticed, studied, and coveted. Imagine a coin hunter hunched over a dimly lit desk, a tiny penny placed carefully under a magnifying glass. The collector's eyes trace the faint outlines of Lincoln's profile, then wander to the lettering, the date, the edges. And then, a flicker of difference, a double date, a faint shadow where no shadow should be, a crack in a die that created a ghost-like variation. That difference is not wear. It is not damage. It is evidence of rarity. And that is what fuels the fire of value in the numismatic world. Collectors call these varieties. Small differences from standard issues that occur when the minting process deviates ever so slightly. When dies wear unevenly, when metal flows under immense pressure in unexpected ways, when striking errors occur, coins can emerge from production with unique characteristics. Most of these go unnoticed. Many are discarded. But a rare few, perhaps only a handful among millions, exhibit traits that are distinct and collectible. These are the coins that attract attention at conventions, the ones that get photographed in collector catalogs, the ones experts pore over under magnification. A coin in such exceptional condition, especially if it is uncirculated, with crisp details and minimal wear, can be worth dramatically more than face value. In the world of serious collectors, a high-grade rare variety 1957 D wheat penny can fetch significant money. Not every rare coin becomes a $1 million legend, but the possibility has driven generations of collectors to study jars of pennies, rolls of change, and old collections with unrelenting curiosity. That curiosity is part of what makes the story of the wheat penny so unforgettable. Let's talk about what makes a coin valuable in the collector world. Scarcity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. Scarcity comes when fewer coins are known to exist with a specific trait. Condition refers to the state of the coin, whether it's worn from circulation or pristine as though it just left the mint. Historical significance adds narrative weight, and a 1957 coin stands at a fascinating point in American history, post-World War II and mid-century modernity, when everyday objects like pennies were symbols of daily life. Collector demand, then, is the force that drives price, that willingness among serious collectors to pay high premiums for coins that tell rare stories. Now imagine walking into a coin shop, jar of old pennies in hand, scuffed, filthy, forgotten. Your eye catches the bright copper of a 1957 wheat penny. At first it seems ordinary, dull, unnoticed. But something about it draws you closer. Under magnification, a slight anomaly appears. A die mark that shouldn't be there, a doubling on the date no one told you to look for. Your pulse quickens. You sense possibility. You take it to a grading service. Experts confirm that it's a rare variety, certified and authenticated. Suddenly, that battered little penny from pocket change, once used to buy candy or pay for bus fare, becomes a collectible of serious interest. Its value is no longer anchored to 1 cent. It is instead anchored to rarity, to story, to the journey it has survived. The market for collectible coins, especially rare pennies, can astonish outsiders. Coins that are centuries old and rare can sell for huge sums. But even mid-20th century coins with unusual traits can command surprising prices. A unique misstrike or rare variety can elevate a 1957 wheat penny from modest curiosity to prized collectible. And when a coin is truly exceptional, when verified by experts and authenticated by grading authorities, its sale can cap to next up. The 1944 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. This humble penny, born in a world very different from our own, carries both the everyday rhythm of mid-century life and the potential to unlock astonishing stories, and in rare cases, astonishing value. Imagine America in 1944. The world was engulfed in war. Soldiers marched and fought overseas. Families waited, worried and hopeful, for letters and news. On the home front, every act, every purchase, every coin carried extra weight. Not just monetary, but emotional. This was a time when even the smallest cent mattered. Resources were devoted to the war effort, and medals were shifted to support those needs. In that context, the Lincoln Wheat Penny stood as something familiar. A design in place since 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln, the president who preserved the Union during its most desperate crisis. His portrait on the front symbolized endurance. On the reverse, 2 sheaves of wheat framed the words 1 cent, representing prosperity, nourishment, and a connection to everyday life, even amid global turmoil. The 1944 no-mint mark penny was struck in Philadelphia, the flagship mint of the United States, a mint that didn't use a mint mark at the time. Millions of these pennies were produced, and most were meant for circulation, jangled in pockets, used for buying a loaf of bread or a newspaper. Many of these pennies did just that. They slipped into commerce, changed hands countless times, and eventually found their way into drawers, jars, albums, or simply disappeared into history. To the average person in 1944, it was just money. But to future generations, it became something much more. Coins are tangible pieces of history, artifacts of the everyday world that survive long after the moments that created them have faded. Each scratch, each mark, each faded detail on a penny is a testament to the life it lived. The wallets it rode in, the vending machines it passed through, the hands that held it. That's why collectors, numismatists, find them so captivating. But beyond nostalgia lies something more electrifying. The possibility of rarity, the allure of anomalies, and the dream of extraordinary value. Most 1944 Philadelphia wheat pennies are common in the collecting world today. They're found in coin rolls, in old collections, even in pocket change that has been sitting untouched for decades. In ordinary circulated condition, worn, discolored, nicked by time, they are not worth more than a few cents or perhaps a small premium to a collector who wants to complete a set. But here is where the story grows interesting. Rare varieties and unusual conditions can transform a simple penny into a highly valuable collectible. There are tales in numismatic circles, whispered by veteran collectors, shared at conventions, written about in collector journals, of rare 1944 pennies that are not the typical steel or standard bronze variety but rather struck in unusual metal compositions due to wartime anomalies. While the standard 1944 penny was made of bronze, because wartime steel pennies had been issued in 1943, a very small handful of coins with non-standard compositions have surfaced. These are the types that get collectors' hearts racing. Coins that defy the ordinary, that break the pattern, that embody the rare and the remarkable. The idea that one century-old penny found in a jar could be worth millions, or make you a billionaire overnight, belongs to the realm of legendary myth amplified by human imagination. Most 1944 pennies, even in clean or uncirculated condition, will not bring shocking prices. They are common coins that were minted in large numbers. But the dream of rarity, of a coin with an unusual composition, striking anomaly, or unique error, persists because rare coins do exist, and their values can be remarkable. To understand why, imagine the minting process. Coins are produced in massive quantities under extreme pressure, with dies that can wear or shift ever so slightly. Sometimes, mistakes occur. Misaligned strikes, double dies, off-center impressions, or even rare moments when the metal composition differs from the standard planchet. These anomalies, while extremely rare, are like whispers from the mint. Tiny deviations that hint at human error or unique historical conditions. When these rare coins survive the decades and are discovered, they carry stories that ordinary coins simply don't. Think of a coin enthusiast, perhaps a young collector or an older hobbyist, going through an old jar of pennies found in a basement box. There among the dull browns and familiar dates lies a penny that looks odd. Its color is different, its surface seems unusual, or the details are sharper or oddly mismatched. Under a magnifying glass, faint differences emerge. Maybe a doubling of letters, maybe a slight variation in surface texture, maybe something that doesn't align with the thousands of similar coins in reference books. That moment, that spark of realization, is what drives the passion in numismatics. It's not just coins. It's discovery. It's history. It's the thrill of seeing something no one else has noticed. When such a coin is suspect, collectors will often have it examined, photographed, and submitted to professional grading services that specialize in authentication and evaluation. These services are the gatekeepers of collector credibility. If the coin is authenticated as a rare variety, an unusual metal composition from a wartime anomaly or a striking error of significant rarity, its value can soar far above what most people imagine. Suddenly, a penny that was once used to buy a candy bar could be recognized as something remarkable, a rare piece of minting history that commands attention in the collector marketplace. But while the possibility of rare, valuable anomalies exists, it is essential to separate wishful thinking from informed curiosity. The dream that simply possessing a 1944 Philadelphia wheat penny, especially a worn, ordinary one, will instantly make someone unimaginably wealthy is more myth than probability. Yet the heart of the coin-collecting world thrives on such stories because they remind us of the unexpected, the possibility hidden within the ordinary, and the thrill that comes when history reveals itself in metal and design. Let's talk about what really creates value in the coin world. Value is not just a number on a price tag. It is shaped by four key forces: scarcity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. Scarcity arises when few examples of a coin with specific characteristics are known to exist. Condition, often called grade, reflects how well preserved a coin is. A sharp, uncirculated coin from 1944 with crisp details and minimal wear is far rarer than one that has spent decades in circulation. Historical significance gives narrative weight, and being a World War II-era coin connects the 1944 penny to a period of intense global importance. Collector demand, driven by enthusiasts who want to complete sets or own rare examples, is what ultimately determines market value. When a coin combines rarity, high grade, historical importance, and collector demand, its value can climb significantly. Some rare pennies from other years or mints, particularly those with dramatic errors or unusual compositions, have sold for remarkable sums at auction. These sales make headlines because they defy expectations. A small piece of metal, long forgotten in a box or drawer, suddenly worth far more than its face value.